There's one of my further along ground cherries. It is starting to produce some flowers. This is our first year growing them. I'm pretty excited about eating them, so I've got quite a few planted. This is my long bean teepee area. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. It's so crazy how much of a tilt it is here, but this is the little teepee that they'll grow up on. These are noodle beans. And just put them in, I don't know, 10 days ago, a week ago. They're doing pretty well. Here are some of my winter squash that are going to grow up another one of those house-shaped trellises. There are a couple butternut squashes on this side, a delicata, which is one of my favorite, and a spaghetti. They'll grow up and they will hang their fruit down the center. Inside is some lettuces that I'm hoping to keep going as they start getting shaded out so that we can just keep on eating lettuce. As well, yodfa, that Chinese broccoli I was showing you. This is the tomato bed that I made, and I kind of created my own little invention because we're on the slope. I really wanted my tomato bed to be flat. So, well, as flat as I could kind of figure out. So I did a kind of terraced raised bed here. You can see I used branches on the property to kind of lift it up and use these extra tent poles I had to secure them. And then I actually dug up all the sod, flipped it, and then the horse manure and peat. But I made it really nice, really loamy. It's like a good 8 inches down. It's just really good, soft, workable ground. So I'm pretty happy with it for my tomato bed. Tomatoes are probably my favorite thing to grow, so I do like to spoil them a little bit. Their leaves are crazy big. I actually have had to keep pruning and pruning and pruning. I went up the stem already about, on a lot of them, like a good 6 inches already. But it looks like I'm going to have to prune down the leaves as well, just so they're not laying on the ground. Tomatoes don't like the moisture on the ground, and they pick up disease from it, fungal issues. So they're going to grow up this cattle panel, and I have been pruning them mostly to one stem. There are a couple that are 2 stem already, because sometimes it's tricky when you get pruning those suckers on the top. These are all indeterminates. They are a mix between Cherokee Purple, Dr. White Cheese Yellow, Brandywine, and I'm hoping a black cherry tomato. I did seem to have difficulty getting them to germinate, but at the end there, I got so many tomatoes up, and I started not knowing which ones were which. So I'm figuring these out as I go. I know what I seeded, I knew what I grow, so we'll see what they are once they start changing colors. Already getting some good sized little tomatoes. I did grow basil in between them. There's some green on this side here. Another little basil, some purple basil down there, and then there's a lot of purple basil on the other side. The pepper bed, I made this bed by digging up this area. That's the walkway now. So if you kind of tell, this one's kind of raised up, the pepper bed. I just took the topsoil and flipped it over and made a quick raised bed that way, and then just mulched this with wood chips. And then I just put some amendments on the top as well. This pepper bed is the only 2 peppers that I grew from seed. Here's full transparency. The only 2 I was able to get full, although I do have some little ones, but these are the big ones, are these 2. And they're a sweet variety. I forgot what they're called. I had a hard time getting them to germinate and to really thrive, so I really didn't start them early enough. Some Red Beauty sweet peppers down this way. Some super sweet shepherds. And then we start getting spicy. There's some habanero, some Hungarian wax, and then a whole bunch of sweet bananas. And then at the end, jalapenos. And now we enter the first overflow. When I couldn't stop planting things, we decided to fence in the extra blueberries. And I was like, well, I could just make more beds in there. So I did. I did the raised bed thing on this side, amended the soil, put in 2 tomatoes there. Then I did the same thing all the way down. So you can see the hay has kind of a little walkway. And I flipped the sod and put some amendments on the top, planted 6 more tomatoes down that way. And they're all doing pretty well. More little baby ground cherries. These are our newest blueberries this year, so they're just little babies. But they're probably one of our earliest because they're the bluest blueberries on them. I planted some stinging nettle down here. Yes, I know that stinging nettle is an aggressive grower, and I'm happy about that. You can control it very easily, and you can use it for a million purposes. So for me, it is worth its wear. Stinging nettle can be kind of like your sacrificial lamb in the garden. So if you have problems with aphids, I have gotten some on my tomato plants. I've usually just tried to keep hosing them off. But this year I decided to use stinging nettle to draw the aphids because they love stinging nettle. And if they find stinging nettle near, they will prefer it over your other plants. That's the theory anyway. So we're going to try it out and see how it works. Maybe I won't get any aphids. I doubt it, but we shall see. And then as it grows, I'm going to move it around and grow it in lots of other places. It's a great for feed for goats and for chickens. You can use it to make a compost tea or a fertilizer tea that you can add with your comfrey. Oh gosh, there's so many. It's medicinal. You can eat it. It's super nutritious. It is worth its wear. Morning glories that are planning to grow up this back fence just to prettify it a little bit, make it pretty. It's had a little bit of slug issues, but it's still growing fine. Morning glories are pretty tough cookies, but it's still going. Now outside the fence is where we're growing a lot more winter squash. So I have pie pumpkins, delicata squash. That actually is the luxury pie pumpkin. Then it's 2 butternut. Nope, that's a spaghetti squash. And I think it's 2 butternut, and then I have another delicata up there. We did use the black fabric this year on this. I wanted to try it out just as a quick method that I didn't have to completely amend the beds, completely mulch the beds. We could at least kind of kill the weeds in those areas and then mulch going forward. That's our corn. This is my first year growing sweet corn. I guess I'm living a little dangerously because it's not fenced in. The deer can come up and munch it down, but when I planted it, I said, I'm just going to be okay with sharing with the deer. Maybe they'll take that and not take other things or jump over the fence because I have done that. And then the outside here is where our fruit trees are. And I'll save that for another video. So thanks for coming along with me and checking out my garden. I hope it wasn't too long or boring, but I guess it depends on your interest in those things as far as your takeaways. My son just walked by, I don't know if you saw him, and is watering his own little garden. We are going to feature a video just for him and his garden that he's been working on. He is 10. He is like a lot of other 10-year-old boys. He'd much prefer to be on video games or watching YouTube. So I'm trying my best to find ways to get him to find some love and appreciation for, growing things and learning a little responsibility and some money making, because he's going to try to sell his vegetables to us. So we offered. So if he grows anything, we're going to buy it from him, and he's allowed to try to sell it out front of the house. Like, he's gonna grow some pumpkins, and if he can get a better dollar forage on the road, we'll let them sell them. So anyways, thanks for joining us. I'm just want to say hi to my mom. Uh, she's a big reason why I decided and agreed to get on video, which is kind of a hard thing for me to do. So anyways, hi to my mom. She's a big reason why I'm doing this, so that she can feel more in touch. She does still live in New York, and with the whole COVID situation, she's been playing pretty safe, which she should be. She's, not of best health and wants to stay around. So I haven't seen her in about 6 months, and so miss you, Mom. Love you. Hope you enjoyed the tour. I'll show you more things around here soon. Include the kids lots, and I hope your garden's still growing well, and hope Cad's not giving you any problems. um, and for everyone else, thanks for checking it all out, and thanks for hanging out with me today. Um, have a great Sunday and happy Father's Day to all the daddies out there.